What's up, guys? We are live here for UFC Fight Island 5, and we have a fantastic card. The main event's awesome. Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Moraes. The co-main event, it's going to be a fun one, and really a very, very good card here. A lot better than the card last week, but it was a good card last week. I had a very good night, had a winning night. Would have been a monster night, but Charles Jourdain pulled what I like to call an Agapova. He went in there overconfident, ended up getting the draw. So would have been a crazy night if he would have got it done. But man, you got to have some respect for some fighters. So he did go out there and he did indeed pull an Agapova. But ready to get into this week here, and I have a ton of betting action on this card. I have 5 bets that we'll talk about tonight, and I'm even looking at placing maybe 1 or 2 more bets. There are so many spots I like on this card, and I am ready to make some money, and hopefully a lot of it. Hopefully you guys are too. Thank you all for hanging out. As always, what's up, Mystic Sosa? What's up, Will? What's up, Tyler? How are you guys doing tonight? Really looking forward to break down these fights. Usually there's one fight on this on a card where you're like, why is this on here? But really, I think every single fight is going to be good. So really looking forward to breaking this card down. So disappointed in Jourdain. Same here. Like, wow. He almost won the fight. I even thought he won the fight. I thought he won round 2 and round 3, but the judges, saw it a little differently. But it definitely does happen. He obviously should have went in there with a little bit of a better game plan. What's up, Cloud? What's up, Brandon? What's up, guys? What's up, guys? All right, so we have a decent amount of fights to go over, so we're going to get right into it. As always, you guys can ask questions as the fights go along. But yeah, let's get into it, and we're going to start with the first fight of the night here. And it is Tagur Ulambekov versus Bruna Silva, and this is where I start my action. I have a parlay with Ulambekov and somebody that we'll talk about further above the card, but I do have him as my first leg of that 2-leg parlay. As you guys can tell, if I do a parlay, I like it being 2 legs. I think any more than 2 legs is typically really hard to hit, and even lately, like the 2-leg parlays have been hard to hit. Some of these big favorites like Jourdain just have not been getting it done. TJ Laramie, but hopefully, Taguir is able to get it done, and I think he does. I think this is a very good matchup for him. Watching tape on Taguir, I really do think he's the real deal. His striking is pretty solid. His wrestling is very good, and outside of him getting, maybe submitted or something, maybe Silva lands a hard shot, I don't really see Taguir losing this fight. I think he's the much better fighter. I think there's a huge gap in skill here, and I think he gets it done by decision, and I don't think a finish is off the table as well. We've seen Silva submitted once. We've seen Silva knocked out before as well. I just don't think Silva's really UFC caliber fighter. And Taguir, he looks like the real deal to me. He is the first leg of my parlay there. So I do like him as a parlay piece. Looking at some other lines, plus 210 Taguir by sub. I mean, Silva is a black belt, I guess, but I do like him. Maybe inside the distance, plus 160 is a way to look, but I do like him as a parlay piece. Better than really anything else. As for DraftKings, 9,300, it's a tough spot because with all the heavyweight fights up top that are probably going to finish, I'm not 100% sold that this fight's going to finish like the other fights are. So I think since it's the first fight of the night, I think it'll be a lot lower owned than guys like Aspinall, guys like Nascimento. If you do want to take a shot on Taguir, maybe he racks up a ton of takedowns, a ton of advances. He's more than capable of doing so. I think it could be a really sneaky play on the first fight of the night. So I will have some Taguir, but I do like the plays above him and below him a little bit better. But I do think he's a solid option in the 9K range. As for Silva, if you want to take a shot, I mean, you can try, but outside of him landing some type of shot or some type of submission, I really don't see him getting it done. So Taguir for me, and pretty confident in that pick. Yeah, last week's heavyweight fight was awful. One of the worst fights of the year, and it was the co-main event. I couldn't believe it, but there are some exciting heavyweight fights on this card. Ulambekov by sub. I don't hate it. Any Bellator bets, MVP. I mean, a lot of people in my Discord were talking about MVP. I think he should be fine, but really haven't looked into it. I've been really digging in deep to this card here. Ulambekov score high. I mean, he has potential. It's just I don't know if it's going to be a finish. Maybe he can score very high in this decision with lots of volume, maybe some takedowns. But I bet the parlay is Ulambekov and Impa. Nope, but you're I guess you're kind of halfway there. Impa is not a good parlay piece. We will talk about that. do you think Gigachikazy barely making weight will play into the fight at all? We will definitely talk about that soon. This card is sneaky good. I think it's really good, especially compared to last week's card. And last week's card is a lot better than I thought it would be, but this card is legit. I like every single fight on this card. I think the worst fight on this card is probably Ben Rothwell, Tybura. I don't think that's a really good fight, but other than that, everything else is pretty solid here. We like Aspinall. Bruna is being underestimated. He is, I guess, but I just don't see him getting this done outside of landing some kind of lucky shot here. All right, so getting into the next fight here, and I do have a bet on this fight, and yes, it is women's MMA, and yes, in the past I have talked crap about women's MMA and how it's so unpredictable and how I suck at picking and betting it, but lately, in the past 2 weeks, I am 2 for 2 on my women's MMA bets. I had Caitlin Vieira in a parlay, and I had Luma Lukbumi as a straight bet, so I'm gonna ride the wave here, and I'm gonna go with Stephanie Egger. I played her at plus 205 though, and currently she's plus 160. So a lot of money is coming in on Egger, and rightfully so. This fight is going to be very, very close. If you guys watch the weigh-in, she's going to have a decent size advantage on Cortez. She's going to most likely have a strength advantage as well. The only problem is she hasn't fought the best competition, but I really like the stylistic matchup for her. Of course, if Cortez keeps this standing and they strike the whole time, yeah, Cortez is going to have the advantage. I just don't see either fighter really doing that. Cortez isn't a great striker herself. Obviously, give her the slight advantage, but I don't think she's going to look like minus 230, minus 240 like she was in the striking. So I do think it's going to play out close. I think Egger can get takedowns here. I've seen Cortez taken down more than once. I've seen Cortez reversed 2 or 3 times by Maria Agapova, someone we all love there. I've seen her put in so many bad spots on the mat. I don't think her grappling is up to par with someone like Stephanie Egger. So you're telling me I'm going to get her at plus 205? I will take that shot all day. I think it will play out a lot closer than plus 205. So give me Stephanie Egger to win here. I just think that, she's the better probably wrestler. I mean, not wrestler, but I think she's able to get it to the ground probably a little bit better than Cortez, especially with her being bigger. She has a black belt in judo as well. And she's a beast. She looks like a beast on tape. And of course, we got to factor in the level of competition, but I'm not sold on Cortez just yet. I mean, I've seen her put in too many bad spots on the mat to really be confident and go with a Cortez pick. I really like Egger to get this done, especially at plus 205. I'll take that all day. So on DraftKings, Cortez at 9,000. It's tough because she's probably not going to finish Egger. And there's so many great plays around her, so I'm not all that high on Cortez. Egger, if she wins, it's probably due to some takedowns, some advances, maybe even finds a submission. So I think Egger at 7,200 definitely does make sense. Some prop plays, Egger by sub plus 655. I mean, Cortez has been submitted before, and she's been put in so many bad spots, and Egger looks legit on the mat. So plus 655 is not a bad look, but ultimately I do have Egger. I do have her at plus 205. Not the most popular pick in the world. I know everybody likes Cortez, obviously the much better looking fighter, but I'm going to go with the fighter here that I think is going to win a very close fight at plus 205. Brady, don't do it. Don't bet women's MMA. I've been very good at betting women's MMA, and hopefully it comes again this week. So I really like this spot, especially at plus 205. Egger is high level judo. Her ground game is suffocating, and her trips and reaps are top notch. Yep. Got her early when she was plus 220. Nice. I know a lot of people that got her at like plus 225, plus 230, around there. Good job. Good job on getting in early. Somebody in my Discord, and shout out to whoever it was, but they were like, I think Egger's a live dog. So it was one of the first fights I looked into, and I'm glad I did because I did get a good line at plus 205. Cortez by decision. Wouldn't be surprised if Egger pulls an armbar on Cortez. Yeah, and I've seen Cortez almost get armbarred a couple times as well. So forever that's worth. But man, will Cortez score low on DraftKings or higher? I don't think she'll score all that high. If she does, I don't think she has the striking to really put out some crazy output. I don't think she's going to go for multiple takedowns, get advances. So have a lot of Egger on DFS, and she's probably going to be low owned as well. So I don't think Egger is not a bad play whatsoever. Cortez, the much better looking fighter, but she fine. All right, so getting into the next fight here. And I have another bet, another bet here in Omar Morales versus Gigachikazy, and I have a bet on Omar Morales minus 150, 1.5 units on it. And everybody loves Giga. Everybody loves this guy for some reason, and I really don't get it. And I normally don't do this, but I want to take a look at Chikazy's record here and some of the guys he's fought, and we'll start top to bottom. But I was really expecting a lot more money to come in on Gigachikazy here, but that wasn't the case. Now some more money is coming in on Morales, but in his MMA debut, he lost to a 4-1 guy. No shame in that. 2016, he beat an 0-0 guy. 2017, he beat a 1-10 guy. Same thing. 2017, he beat an 0-13 guy. 2017, he beat an 0-1 guy. 2018, beat a 2-31 guy. He armbarred him. My goodness. 2019, last year, he beat an 0-1 guy. And then he fought Brandon Davis, which was a close fight. And then he fought Jamal Emmers, and Emmers outstruck him by like 20 significant strikes. He took him down like twice, maybe 3 times. I thought Emmers won that fight, and they gave the decision to Chikazy. And then Erwin Rivera, and we all know how I feel about Erwin Rivera. So honestly, like, wow, it's pretty crazy to think about. Like, he has fought pretty much nobody, and when he's got that step up, the fights have been very, very close. And Omar Morales is going to be the toughest fighter he's fought to this date here. So minus 150, I like it a lot. I've been waiting to fade Gigachikazy, and you're giving me a very good line at minus 150 here. He's going to throw them more output. He's going to push forward. Chikazy is one to slow down as the fight goes on. Morales is the opposite. He throws more as the fight goes on. So I didn't even touch on it, but Morales is a black belt in BJJ. I think if he used his wrestling and got it to the mat, if he used his black belt, his grappling, I think he'd have a really big path to victory. But of course, we can't go out there and fight for the fighters. They don't always do what we want them to do. So I'm not expecting that, but it would make me really happy if he went out there and tested Chikazy's ground game a little bit. I think that would be a nice path to victory. But ultimately, they're going to stand with each other. Morales is going to throw slightly more volume. Chikazy's his volume is going to decrease as the fight goes on, and Morales is going to bring it on as the fight goes on, especially in that third round against Silva. I think he threw like over 100 significant strikes, so he puts it on in that third round, and Chikazy doesn't. So I know a lot of people like Chikazy. I don't see it. I've never liked this guy. I don't think he's that great. He's barely squeaking by some of these UFC guys, and he's fought nobody. I just showed you guys he's fought nobody. So give me Morales here all day. Could Chikazy win a very close, boring decision with low output? Maybe. But, Omar has to know, like, the path to victory is there. Just out-volume this guy. Maybe take him down. So give me Omar here. Giga is the ultimate can crusher. Yeah, I was surprised. Like, I was looking at that, and he has fought nobody. He's got it handed to him, and then whenever he got to step up, like, it's either close or he loses there. I took Morales at minus 145. I like that line quite a bit. How does this Giga guy keep winning these fights? I don't know. I thought he lost against Emmers, and maybe it was some recency bias because I did have Emmers, but he outlanded Giga in round 2 and in round 3 by a ton, and he even took him down twice. So I don't know. He lost to Austin Springer, who looked like an absolute can against Bruce Leroy. You are 100% correct. Omar loves chokes, though. I don't know if it's a TKO or sub. Yeah, Omar has actually finished half of his wins by submission. Like, he has to know, like, Chikazy is green on the mat. He has to know that. We all know it. So why not come in here and test that ground game? I think it'd be a good idea. So looks like everybody is in a lot of agreement here. Like I said, I was really expecting more love to come in for Giga, so I did wait a little bit. I could have got Morales at, like Locker Room did, minus 145. I could have got him at like minus 140, but I did want to be a little bit greedy and wait because people like this guy. But I got minus 150. I'm more than comfortable with that. All right. Yeah, I didn't even touch on it. Morales looked like a tank on the scales too. I have Morales by decision parlay with Sandhagen inside the distance. Yeah, he looked great on the scales, and I was concerned because he is dropping a weight class. He looked good, and that was the one thing I needed to see, and he looked very good. So Morales for me. Getting into the next fight, and I just want to say thank you all for hanging out. 162 in this chat. Make sure you guys hit the like button. It helps out a ton. If we can get 100 likes, we've been getting it. By the time this live stream's over, that would be awesome. And I think I'm like a couple subscribers away from 7,000. So if we can get that as well by the end of the live stream, that would be sweet. 7,000 is a big milestone. I thank you all so much for your support. It means the world to me. It really does. But getting into the next fight here, and man, this is one of the toughest fights for me to call on the slate. If you guys watch my breakdown and prediction video, I was slightly leaning Gigachikazy because the path to victory is there. The takedowns are there, but at weigh-ins, he was one of the last to weigh in, or he was the last to weigh in, with not much time left on the clock to weigh in, and he didn't look all that great to me. And in a close fight, man, I think cardio is going to play a huge factor in this fight. I really do. And even in Irwin Rivera fight with Gigachikazy, he went out there in the first round. I believe he won that first round with some takedowns. He looked good. He looked good. And then as the fight went on, he kind of shied away from those takedowns, and he was not able to get them. And he kind of looked a little tired. So I don't know if this dude has the gas tank to push a wrestling heavy pace for 15 minutes. And that's what he's going to need to do to win here. And, seeing him on the scales, barely making weight, it looked like a tough cut to me. I have no confidence in that pick whatsoever. I'm actually more leaning towards Tony Kelly here. The only problem is minus 225 is a little wide still. I would love to get Tony Kelly at like minus 130, minus 150 would be okay, but minus 225 is pushing it a little bit because Kelly's weakness is that takedown defense, and Gigachikazy obviously has those takedowns to go to, and he can get them. It's just, can he push that pace for 15 minutes? I'm leaning towards no. I don't think he can, especially seeing him on the scales, and even in the Rivera fight, it didn't look like he had the best cardio in the world. So Kelly, I probably think Kelly's going to win here. I'm going to go with Kelly to get the win, probably a decision or even a late stoppage. Kelly, he kind of looked a little bit tired in his Kamaka fight, but he was able to keep pushing. He has great heart. His volume is crazy. He landed like 7.5 significant strikes per minute in that Kamaka fight, like 110 significant strikes, all while getting taken down 5 times. It's crazy. The pace he throws is crazy. And Gigachikazy is someone who got out-volumed by Irwin Rivera. So I got to go with Kelly here. It's just the price is too wide. So I'm going to stay away from this fight. On DraftKings, I really like Kelly at 8,700 because he's going to throw a ton. And I think a finish is definitely on the table. I think it's definitely on the table, especially if Gigachikazy maybe gasses out towards the end of the fight. And if he is going for those takedowns, it's going to get him tired. I can see Gigachikazy winning that first round and Kelly winning those last 2. So for that reason, I do think it's a little bit wide, but I'm going to go with Tony Kelly here. I don't often change my picks much. I think this is pretty much one of the only times I've done it, but just seeing Gigachikazy on the scales today, it's not a great sign. And it was already a very, very, very close pick for myself. And just seeing him on the scales, it gave me the Tony Kelly edge there. So I'm going with Tony Kelly. I like him on DraftKings. Gigachikazy, if you want to take a shot, maybe he gets takedowns, but Kelly for me in what should be a decently close fight. How can you change, bro? Gigachikazy was great last time. He will learn and get better. I don't know. It's just seeing him on the scales. It's rough. I'm ultimately passing from this fight, but it's a really tough fight to call. Yeah, Ali looked very bad. He was the last one to weigh in and look bad. Yeah, I agree. So I can't pick him here. Was thinking about maybe betting him at that price early in the week, but I'm glad I passed, especially after seeing the weigh-ins. Yeah, watching him come off the scales, he jumped off the stage and it was a little bit wobbly. So it's really hard to pick a guy like that. So yeah, I can't take Gigachikazy here. It should be a very close fight. Kelly's going to have that cardio advantage there. So if it's a close fight, it's going to go to Gigachikazy because it's in the Middle East. Maybe that is I don't know. I think it's going to be really close, but you could be right there. How's it going, Brady? Your predictions are legit. They won me some money on DraftKings. Let's get it. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully you guys are doing well, and then hopefully win some money on this card because I have a ton of action. Agreed. Didn't like Ali's weigh-ins. Weigh-in guy kind of bailed him out, in my opinion. It's seemingly a tough weight cut for him. Yeah. So the pick is Kelly. Am I going to bet it at minus 225? Probably not. Take a look at some props. KO plus 440, inside the distance plus 215. That's not great enough for me. I'm just going to play him a lot in DraftKings. So I had Ali winning, but the weigh-ins has just surprised me. Yeah. So all right. So we'll get into the next fight. That is a very tough fight for me to call there. Not all that confident in the Kelly pick, but I do have to give him the edge after seeing those weigh-ins and with the cardio advantage there. All right, getting into the next fight, it's a really good one. Gigachikazy versus Joaquin Buckley, and I'm so excited for this fight. This is probably, one of the best fights on the card. It's going to be fantastic. Both these guys are going to stand and bang with each other. And what I noticed right off the bat is a lot of people are parlaying Gigachikazy. I mean, I think he wins, but this is a really dangerous fight. Buckley, he looked okay against Holland, but he had like a 8-inch reach disadvantage. I think they're going to have just about the same reach in this fight. And Buckley, he hits hard. He's fought the better competition. He's built as is Impa though, but these guys are going to stand and bang. I think Impa can even go for takedowns here. But I think the line is a little bit off. I wouldn't lay the minus 240 on Impa. I know a lot of people are. I wish the best of luck to you, but this seems like a very dangerous fight here. But I am going to pick Impa. I'm going to pick him to win by a third-round finish. And honestly, this is something I'm taking a look at. I haven't bet it yet, but either fight doesn't go to decision plus 125. Buckley has been knocked out twice. He's just coming off of a knockout. Buckley has won 70% of his fights by knockout here. And Impa has not won by knockout yet, I don't believe. But, just watching the Patola fight, like Impa can crack. He really can. He hits hard. So I was kind of surprised he doesn't have a knockout on his record. And maybe Buckley is a little bit on the, chinny side, maybe. But both these guys are going to stand and bang, and I think one guy is going to fall, especially if Buckley slows down. Impa's not going to slow down. I think Buckley might be able to catch Impa early. Impa does leave these openings, but if Impa's able to, if Impa's chin holds up, he's going to win this fight. So not comfortable with a Impa in a parlay. Not comfortable betting Impa straight at that line. I think it should be a lot closer. Impa is still pretty untested. I do think he wins the fight, though. But the looks that I'm looking at is maybe the fight doesn't go to decision, plus 125, or the under is probably like plus 160. I think there could be a finish, whether it's Buckley early or Impa late here. As for DraftKings, it's really hard to play Impa. If he does not get that finish, he's not going to pay off that 8,900. I don't know. Maybe I'll have some of them. Buckley is a decent pump play because if he does win, it's going to be by knockout. This guy throws absolute bombs. He's trying to take your head off. Those are the guys you want to target. So don't mind a Buckley, but give me Impa here to win. Kind of confident in it, but I do think it's kind of a really scary fight. If you bet Impa, you're going to be on the edge of your seat for 15 minutes. This is going to be a banger here. Yeah, Buckley was inches away from landing bombs on Holland, which has an 8-inch reach. You're right. He might land those this time. He could, but from what I've seen, Impa has a good chin, but man, Buckley can crack. Both these guys can. Buckley looked excited to be there. He sure did. I honestly see Buckley a lot like Patola with the weaker chin. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Patola nowadays, but yeah, I think Buckley does have a weaker chin than Patola. You were right about that. Impa does hit hard. He does hit hard, so I'm surprised about that. He doesn't have a knockout yet, so I don't know. The fight doesn't go to decision is looking pretty good to me. Holland is a top tier fighter. Yeah, he is. Let's see. Impa's dad will be in his corner. I bet Patola and Impa live at plus 115. Good line there. Joaquin made Holland look like a genius. Impa all day. Yeah, but Holland does have that reach. It's, give guys problems for sure. And keep in mind, Buckley did come in this the Holland fight on short notice. He has a little bit more time to prepare now. I think he'll make a better account of himself. But minus 240 for Impa is a little crazy. What's up, Thomas? Fade Buckley coming off a knockout 2 months ago. Yeah, that's probably the best option there. Taguir, Morales, Kelly, Aspinall, Duplessis, Rothwell, and Barbosa. Not bad. Do you think the fight will go over 1.5? The over-under is set at 2.5, and I'm kind of leaning towards the under 2.5, or even the fight doesn't go to decision line. I don't know. I just have a feeling that these guys are going to come out here and crack, and someone's going to get finished. The knockouts will come for Impa. He just needs more experience. Yeah, he hits hard. I'm surprised there's no knockouts. So maybe it comes here. So going to get into the next fight. And like I said, that fight, I'm really looking forward to that fight. It's going to be maybe possible fight of the night even. It's going to be a good one. Rogerio Nascimento versus Chris Dawkins. And this is my next bet. I'll give out the full bet here. Don't want to mix up the parlays. So I have Nascimento inside the distance parlayed with Aspinall inside the distance. And we'll talk about Aspinall in a little bit, but I got that at plus 136. I have 1 unit on that. And it's weird. It seems like I'm one of the few people that are on Nascimento this week. I see a ton of love on Dawkins, and I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, he looked fantastic against Parker Porter. He looked great. He looked fantastic. I made money off of Chris Dawkins against Porter. And believe it or not, Dawkins was an underdog to Parker Porter. Believe it or not, but he was. And was able to make some good money off of Dawkins there. He was able to get a nice finish. And in this matchup, Nascimento is someone who is still young. He's still improving every single fight. He's at a really good camp, American top team. His striking is improving each and every fight. You can see improvements in the striking. And we saw in the Mays fight, I bet on Nascimento in that fight, and he started striking with Mays. I was like, no, don't do that. Take him to the mat. And he was striking with Mays. He was actually looking good. So his striking is getting better and better. We haven't saw him for, I believe, over a year or close to it. So we're going to see some more improvements from Nascimento. This guy, to me, is the real deal. 75% of his wins come by submission. He has very good takedowns. When he gets on the mat, heavy top control, very good at passing, extremely good submissions. He is legit on the mat. And, was watching tape on Dawkins, got through all my tape, and then I heard that Dawkins was a black belt. And, man, I could have not told you that from watching tape. I have not seen him, do much on the mat. I saw him even get submitted a couple of years ago. Outside of the first round, he gets very tired, and Nascimento looks to be in the better shape. And I know Dawkins weighed in, I think, at like 225, 6, 7, 8, something like that, somewhere in the 220s. So he actually lost some weight since his last fight. He lost about 15 to 20 pounds. Last fight, he weighed in like the 240s. So he's coming in here lighter. And honestly, I think that hurts him. Nascimento is huge. He cuts down to 265 pounds. And especially in a fight where there's going to be wrestling, there's going to be grappling, why would Dawkins come in here underweight? It just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe he's trying to be the faster fighter, but he's got to know those takedowns are coming. And Nascimento has shown a really good chin. Dawkins has been knocked out twice. Dawkins has been submitted once. None of these guys have went to decision. It's safe to say this fight is going to finish, and I like Nascimento to get it done. I know a lot of people are hyping up Chris Dawkins and his black belt. Man, I think Nascimento is better on the mat, especially when Dawkins does get tired. If it does leave the second round, I think Nascimento will be able to get an easy sub here. But if you guys think the black belt is legit on Dawkins, plus 775 by KO for Nascimento. If you think he's able to use his ground game to not get submitted by Nascimento, plus 775 for a knockout by Nascimento is not an awful look, because he does have some power, especially if he gets some takedowns, land some ground and pound. Maybe he does get a knockout finish, but ultimately, I like Nascimento. I like him on Draftkings, 9,200. I have him in that parlay with Aspinall inside the distance for plus money there. Dawkins on Draftkings is fine. If he wins, it's going to be in the first round. If you want to bet Dawkins, and I believe Sosa in our Discord, he posted this bet in there. It is Dawkins round 1 KO. It's plus 1,100. If you like Dawkins, bet him plus 1,100 round 1 KO. That's pretty much the only path to victory I see, but I do see Nascimento getting it done, getting the takedown, grinding Dawkins out, finding a submission, ground and pound. I see him getting it done. I'm very high on Nascimento. Don't understand the love for Dawkins, but we'll definitely see. It is a heavyweight fight. He's live for a KO Dawkins, but I don't see it. I don't see what everybody else is seeing here. So give me Nascimento. Black belt at Burger King, Brady 2020. What? Dawkins really slimmed down since the last fight. Was surprised at the weigh-ins. Yep, I don't get it. Especially in a fight like this where there's going to be some wrestling. Chris Dawkins learns from his brother Kyle Dawkins. You are correct. Is Chris still a cop? I believe he is. I think I heard someone said that he quit, but I don't know if that's true. But as far as I know, he is. Nascimento is definitely the play. He's no Porter. He is no Porter indeed. Would it be outrageous to parlay this and the Aspinall fight both under 1.5? It would not be outrageous. It's really hard to see this fight going past that 1.5 mark. Same with Aspinall. So yeah, if you can parlay props, it's not a bad look. I'm playing Nascimento as well. Chris does have those fast hands. Yeah, he'll have the faster hands. Will be the faster fighter for sure. But man, he can wait in like 226, 227, which is weird. Really weird. Awesome call, Brady and Sosa plus 1100 first round knockout is very intriguing. It is intriguing, and I'm on Nascimento. If I was to bet Dacus, it would be that plus 1100. So shout out to Sosa for that, but ultimately I am on Nascimento. Dacus more of a cruiserweight, speed kills power. We'll see Saturday night. Yes, we will. Very intrigued. I'm going against a lot of people on that Nascimento pick. Really like the guy. Both guys have won me money though, so really looking forward to it. Getting into the next fight. And we have Tom Breeze versus Kb Bueller. Not going to touch on this fight all that much. Honestly, guys, there wasn't much tape out on Bueller. I think I was able to watch maybe 2 or 3 fights. There are a lot of fights that was pay to watch. Didn't really think it was necessary because I'm not going to bet this fight either way. I see a lot of people taking a shot on Bueller, and it's pretty much probably a fade on Breeze because you can't really trust Breeze. It's either he shows up or he doesn't. When he shows up, looks great. He's a very good fighter. But he does have some, mental things going on in his life the past couple of years that has really hurt him. And I don't know. It's a tough fight to call. I'll tell you what, I'm not laying the minus 260 on Breeze. So for everybody taking a shot on Bueller, I don't hate it. He looks decent. I wish I could see a little bit more of his fights, but from what I see, he's tall, he's long, pretty good striking, pretty good ground game. But Breeze, when he's on, he's on. So I'm going to pick Breeze because I don't know much about Bueller. I'm assuming if Breeze shows up and he's himself, he looks like the Tom Breeze we all know. So I think he'll win, probably by some type of finish if he gets it to the ground. He's a BJJ black belt, probably gets a finish there, but minus 260 is insane. So good luck if you're betting this fight. I think it's a fight I would not personally put my money on. If anything, probably dog or pass, but a fight I'm staying away from on DraftKings. Breeze at 9,100. It's interesting, but there's just other plays I like. Bueller, like I said, if you're fading Breeze, Bueller at 7,100 is not a bad look. But yeah, not all that interested in this fight whatsoever. Who do you guys have in this fight? Anybody taking a shot on Bueller at plus 220? Because I guess it's intriguing. It's just there's not much tape on the guy. Bueller's Tapology picture looks trash, weak and skinny. Is that a Penn State hoodie, my man? Philly here. What's up? And yes, it is. I got Breeze, no bet. Under 2.5. It's, I think that's a good bet. It's just I don't really want to put any money on this fight personally. Fade Bueller, Breeze coming in confident this time. I mean, it seems like he's coming in confident every time. That's the thing. Bet Breeze by TKO, KO plus 300. Breeze all day, KB too slow. Yeah, I mean, I think Breeze is the better fighter, but that's you can't trust him at that line. All right, so getting into the next fight here. And we have lost my spot. Yusuf Zalal versus Alio Tapora. And I have another bet here. So watching tape on Tapora, like this kid, he's very, very good. He looks legit. Great finisher. Good submissions. He has some power in his hands as well. His wrestling's very, very good. And I'm a big Zalal fan. I believe he's 3-0 in the UFC, and I picked him every single time. He's won me some good money. I think his first fight against Lingo, against Jordan Griffin, I had him. And, of course, against Slippery Pete Barrett, I had him in that fight. So, yeah, Zalal's been making me money, and I'm assuming he's been making a lot of people money, and people like this guy. I was actually, hoping more money would come in on Zalal, but it went the complete opposite. So I kind of botched this Tapora line a little bit. I got it at plus 145. Wish I would have got it at like plus 160, plus 170, but I jumped on late. I waited a little bit too long, but I'm still fine with that plus 145 shot. I think he's the more dangerous fighter. If there's a finish, it's going to be on the Tapora side, most likely. It's just the question marks that kind of scare me. I think he's been out of the first round one time, so we're not too sure about his cardio, but from what I see on tape, he looks very, very good. And we have seen Zalal taken down. We have seen Zalal struggle with the wrestling and grappling pre-UFC. And I think if Tapora comes out here with the wrestling having game plan, maybe even finds a sub in that first round. So I like Tybura. I'm taking a shot on the dog here. I think this should be closer to a pick'em. There are some unknowns with Tybura, but it kind of reminds me of the decline play, the Imavov play the past couple weeks. There's some question marks on these guys, but they look really good. And I'm ready to take this shot. And I think he's going to probably submit Zalal, probably in that first round. So give me Tybura here on DraftKings, obviously 7,600. He's probably the either first or second highest upside underdog on the whole slate. You will want your exposure to Tybura. Zalal, more of a decision guy, 8,600. Don't know if he'll pay it off. He wasn't able to finish slippery Pete Barrett. Embarrassing. I know, but yeah, Tybura, I like him here. I think he gets it done here. Really excited to see this guy. He looks legit on tape. Ready to see him in the UFC here. This guy is legit. He looks good to me. Tybura is overrated. I mean, he's an underdog here, so I don't see how he's overrated. Tybura is a lock. Tybura looks solid, but Zalal always running away hard to score points on him. You're right. He's going to be running away, especially in that bigger cage. If it was a smaller cage, like I'd have a lot more confidence in this one, but I still do have confidence in it. Zalal can't seem to finish. The under on this fight is nice. Yeah, and that's something I was looking at as well. I'm glad you bring that up. Was the either the under or the fight doesn't go to decision, because Tybura has never been to decision. So yeah, maybe Zalal can get a late finish, or maybe Tybura can finish him in the first round, second round. But I do think he has a really good chance of winning this fight here. Fight doesn't go to decision, minus 136. Yep, not bad. Tybura via armbar. Zalal trains with Rothwell. How many units on it? Only one unit on that. So 2 underdogs I am betting this week, and I was looking at some other ones, but I think those are the 2 best dogs I'm going with this week. This fight is going to have high output and possibly an early finish. Have both sides on DraftKings. If it goes past the first, Zalal probably finishes him. You could say that because we don't really know what Tybura is going to look outside the first round. We never know. He could have a very good gas tank. He could push a wrestling heavy pace and get takedowns for 3 rounds. We just don't know. But we'll definitely find out. Zalal all day. Oh, yeah, the under is a good call. Tybura via murder. Under 2.5 plus 102. I don't hate it. All right, so getting into the next fight. And that fight's going to be good as well, as long as, like someone said, Zalal's not running away in there. Tom Aspinall versus Alan Bedeaux. And this kind of, told you guys earlier, I have the parlay of Nascimento inside the distance, parlayed with Aspinall inside the distance. And this was a parlay I was looking at all week. But I waited a little bit too long. And a lot of Aspinall inside the distance money started coming in, and rightfully so. But I do like that parlay at like plus 136. And Aspinall should absolutely win this fight. He is the much better fighter. Bedeaux is coming up a weight class. Aspinall is a black belt in BJJ, which is interesting because the sub prop is like plus 600. And I know it was like plus 1,200 earlier in the week. So a lot of money is coming in on that sub prop. If he gets it to the ground, he probably is going to get a sub here. So plus 600 is not a bad look. But ultimately, I do have that inside the distance prop parlay with Nascimento. I think minus 240 I think it's a gift. I think it's definitely a gift because he's going to win this inside the distance more than likely. Don't see it going to a decision. I think Bedeaux's been to a decision once in his career. Obviously, Aspinall's never been the distance. So Aspinall for me, KO minus 190. I wouldn't touch that because, like I said, he is a black belt in BJJ. So if he does get it to the mat, Bedeaux is a fish out of water on the mat. Aspinall subs him easy. So plus 600, not a bad look. But Aspinall and DraftKings, 9,400. I'm going to have a lot of this guy. I'm going to have, more than probably 50% of this guy. I think he's going to end it, and I think he's going to end it fairly early. And, of course, it is heavyweight. Bedeaux at 6,800. If you want to take your shots, go for it. Maybe he lands a shot and knocks out Aspinall. Maybe Aspinall is not what we all think he is, but I do think Aspinall has this one in the bag. Minus 580. Not really you can't really parlay that at this point. Maybe you want to if you're doing multiple guys in a parlay. I think I'll have probably the inside the distance line in a Hail Mary, but I like Aspinall here. I'm ready to see him hopefully come out here and get either a knockout or a submission. Tom Aspinall is a lock for sure. I don't really like using that lock term, but Aspinall is probably closest to a lock you're going to get. What do you think of these two parlays, Tagur, Ulambekov, and Tom Aspinall? So, yeah, I think that's fine. I think it's going to be like probably like minus like 200, 250, something like that, though. Tom Aspinall versus Boser. Wow. Yeah, that would be a really good fight. I think Driscus beats Nascimento, DFS by the numbers, not to rain on your parlay. I just think we are underrating the Philly cop. I don't know. I think that a lot of people are overrating him, but we'll definitely see here. It's going to be a good fight regardless. Aspinall all day. 9,400 is a big hit on DraftKings. I love it. And Aspinall, last time he fought was like 8,000. I want to say 8,800, 8,900 on DraftKings against Jake Collier. And I remember coming on the live stream, we were talking some crap about Collier for like 5 minutes. So was able to make a ton of money on Tom Aspinall against Collier. That was awesome. Can't wait to see Collier back in the octagon. Collier is going to be fighting pretty soon here, I believe. So ready to fade him again. Aspinall under 1.5, most likely. Bedeaux keeps getting knocked out in the first round. I have everything parlay with Taguir. I mean, hopefully he gets it done. I have him in a parlay myself. All right, so we're going to get into the next fight here. And a tough fight. A very tough fight to call. And I'm struggling with this pick for sure. Driscus Duplessis. I think it's how it's pronounced. I've heard it pronounced a million different ways, but we'll say Duplessis. We'll call him Driscus. Versus Marcus Perez. It's tough. I mean, Driscus looks pretty solid on tape. I think he is legit. Minus 170 is getting a little crazy. I have seen him put in some bad spots on the mat. I've seen him submitted about a year ago. He was submitted, dominated on the mat. Perez, if he gets this to the mat, I think he's very, very live for a sub. Say what you want about Marcus Perez, but his ground game's legit. His ground game's very good. His striking's poor. He does not throw much output. Very, weird striking at times. So if Driscus comes in here with the game plan of, I'm going to keep this on the feet, I'm going to, stick at range and strike with Perez for 15 minutes and win a decision, I think that's a solid path to victory. I think he will look minus 170, but Driscus has never been to a decision. He's lost by knockout. He's lost by submission. He's won 100% of his fights by finish. So he's never seen those scorecards. So for me saying that Driscus is going to get a decision win is a little weird here. But Perez is really tough to finish. He's never been knocked out. He's never been submitted. I don't see Driscus being able to submit him unless Perez shoots for a takedown, leaves his neck open. Don't see him finishing him on the with strikes. Perez has a chin on him, so I don't know. It's a tough fight to call. Slightly going to take Perez though, because I do think this fight is going to touch the mat, and when it does, I got to give the advantage to Perez. But sure, Driscus can keep this on the feet and win a decision. It's just he hasn't done that yet. So tough fight to call. I'm going to take the underdog here at plus 150. I'm not going to bet it. No way I'm going to bet Perez here. I see a lot of people taking the shot on Perez. Don't blame you, but it's a tough fight. As for DraftKings, Perez at 7,800. I think this is a fight you want to target. I think this fight scores high. Whether it's Perez maybe getting a finish or maybe a submission or maybe even Driscus, I don't know, subs him, knocks him. I just don't see it, but maybe there can be some decent volume. He does have the volume advantage here, but it is in this 8,400, 7,800 range. I think it's something you want in your DraftKings lineups. I think the winner can definitely hit value there, but really struggling to pick a winner there. I know a lot of people are on Driscus, and rightfully so, but it's a tough fight to call for me. I thought Perez was live, but Driscus was big and looked way stronger. Yeah, he did look pretty big in there. He looked good on the scales. Duplessis eating that Overeem horse meat. Driscus going to pressure, and I see him getting caught by Perez spinning attacks. He could, and Perez also has a really good body kick as well. I don't know, just the more durable guy, is Perez here. And Driscus has never seen those scorecards. That's why I'm going with him, but this is my least confident pick on the whole card here. So it's a tough one. Driscus will win. Driscus sub round 2 guillotine choke. I guarantee it. I think it goes to decision. All right, so we'll take a look at some of the other props here. I mean, people are mentioning the goes to decision props. I think it's plus money. Fight doesn't go to decision is minus 160, so you could probably get fight goes to decision at maybe plus 130, something like that. Yeah, I don't hate it. If you're on Driscus, the fight that goes to decision, it's not a bad look because Perez is extremely durable, really hard to submit as well. So, but if there is a finish, I think it's going to be on the Perez side. Next fight, and this is probably the worst fight on the card. Not looking forward to this one, especially after we just saw that heavyweight fight last week with Felipe and De Castro, which was awful. We have another not so much exciting fight here: Ben Rothwell versus Marcin Tybura. I think we'll talk about DraftKings first. If you want to play Rothwell for the knockout upside, I think if there is a finish, it's going to come from Rothwell. Rothwell hasn't been finished himself since like 2009. Both guys are very, very low output. It could be a very boring, sweaty, ugly heavyweight fight like we saw last week. It could be like that, but I'm going to slightly edge Rothwell just by maybe throwing more volume. Just to Tybura being chinny. He's been knocked out 4 times. I think if there is, like I said, if there's a knockout, it's going to be on the Rothwell side. So give me Rothwell. Am I going to bet it? Probably not. Rothwell by KO plus 245. I guess it's a decent line, but I really want no action on this fight. Just like last week, I wanted no action on the Felipe and De Castro fight, and it worked out fantastic. Felipe got the upset there. Yeah, I'm not playing this fight. So, yeah, worst fight on the card here. So not all that much interested in it, but the next 2 fights I'm going to have a lot of interest in. Most boring heavyweight fight. Why is this on the main card? I do not know. I don't know why they do this. Second worst heavyweight fight I've ever seen. It could be. It could be. Tybura has that Polish power. I don't know about that. Make sure you like and subscribe, boys. Really appreciate that. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes. Let's see if we can get to 7,000 subs by the end of the video. That would be much appreciated. We're at 46 minutes here. Going to go about an hour. Really, really like this card. This card is fantastic. I have 5 bets. I'm going to add maybe 1 or 2 more. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. I always post my bets for free. But if you do want to support me more, if you do want to donate, if you will, I do have a Patreon. I opened up a betting tier where I post my bets throughout the week when I place them. And I also do a betting breakdown on each bet and an article as well. And of course, the sheet you see here in the Discord. So a lot of you guys have signed up the past week. Thank you guys so much for that. Really helps a ton. I have Rothwell on a small straight, and I'm already sweating it. Yeah, this is going to be a sweaty fight, but I think he gets it. Rothwell by decision. They really need to stop putting heavyweight fights up on the card just because they're heavyweights. Yeah, I mean, I can understand the Tom Aspinall, Tom Aspinall prospect being on the main card. I can get it, but man, you're at 7K subs, 7K sub. Well, thank you guys so much. Could not have done it without you guys. Man, have came a long way. So all thanks to you guys. Colby Covington, best UFC fighter. Edgar, Driscus, Aspinall inside the distance. Buckley, Makwan, Tybura, and Tybura to win 100,000. If you want to tail Charlie Chips here, you can win 100K potentially. But man, yeah, that's gonna be tough to hit. But good luck to you there. Best betting breakdown video on YouTube, no cap. Appreciate that a ton. Appreciate it. Do you have a Deegan parlay? I'll post maybe a Hail Mary parlay on Twitter. I usually do those. Throwing bullets like Tom Brady. I mean, I don't know about last night. I can't believe they lost to the Bears. That was crazy. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know either. But good luck. 100K. That'd be nice. All right, so getting into the co-main event and then the main event, and then we'll touch on all the bets and all that. This is the other half of my parlay. I have Tagur, Ulambekov, and Edson Barbosa, 1.5 units. I got it at minus 137. These are probably my 2 most confident picks on the slate. And I know there's a ton of love for Amarkani, but I think this is such a great matchup for Barbosa. Cutting down weight, his last fight against Ige, there's a lot of question marks. I picked Ige personally, but I thought that Barbosa won that fight, and so did a lot of other people. And he looks great on the scales. He looks great. I don't know how he does it. He looks fantastic. So it was awesome to see him look great on the scales. Increases my confidence a little bit. And we all know about Makwan, early sub or bust. If he can't get the sub, he's going to tire himself out. He doesn't have the best cardio, and Edson probably finishes him. The thing about Barbosa is he has very good takedown defense, 80% takedown defense, and it would be higher. it would be higher, but he's faced the best of the best. Khabib took him down 4 times. Kevin Lee took him down 4 times. Makwan does not have the wrestling of those guys, not even close. So for people to think that Edson gets a quick takedown, gets a sub in shortly after like he did against Danny Henry, I think it's a little crazy. And Edson, I believe, is a black belt himself. So he's been submitted twice, but in those fights, he was very, very hurt against, I believe, Tony Ferguson. I believe Donald Cerrone submitted him as well. But in those fights, he was hurt. He was hurt and got submitted that way. I don't think Amarikani is going to hurt him on the feet. I don't think he has that power. So I think it's a pretty clear Barbosa pick here for me. I like him in that parlay. I like Taguir. I like Barbosa. And I'm pretty confident in that. If Amarikani comes in here, takes him down in the first minute, subs him, so be it. I will eat my words, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. I really don't. And on the feet, and I think it plays out on the feet a lot of the fight, it's Barbosa all day, and it's not even close. Barbosa, say what you want about him, but he's still going. He's still looking good. Maybe he is slowing down a little bit, but he looked fine in that Ige fight. He looked fine. I thought he won the fight. But give me Barbosa to win. I think it's a great stylistic matchup. I like that parlay. On DraftKings, 8,800. I think he could potentially finish Amarikani as well, maybe in the early third round as well. Amarikani on DraftKings, 7,400. Maybe he gets a sub. It's just hard to see him submitting Barbosa here. Even if he does get Barbosa down, Barbosa has a very good takedown defense. He's very strong. He's very hard to take down. He's very hard to hold down. Khabib went like 4 for 13, something like that on his takedowns. Khabib, come on. I don't think Makwan, maybe he gets him down, but I don't think he holds him down or submits him. I don't think it's going to be that easy. So Barbosa here for me. I'm really looking forward to this fight because a ton of people are on Makwan. I have no problem against going with a bunch of people here. Edson getting the knockout, leaving the judges out of it, and that's what he said. And I would like that. I would like to see him get a knockout here. I hope Barbosa breaks his jaw so he can't eat apple on Instagram anymore. You're on Makwan plus 220. It's hard to see a path to victory outside of him getting a submission, and I don't think it's all that likely. But good luck to anybody that is on Makwan. Edgar is a great punt. Appreciate it. Barbosa inside the distance. We'll take a look at that line. Barbosa is plus 115 inside the distance. So the odds makers are kind of all over it here. 115 is fine, but I'd like it to be a little bit better. Barbosa is a real BJJ black belt, unlike Driscus. There you go. Barbosa by sub. Interesting. Plus 1,500. I don't know. Maybe. We've seen crazier things happen. Yo, DFS, how do we feel about Edgar as a punt this week on DraftKings? I don't hate it. I don't hate it at that price whatsoever. I think it's a very close fight. She can use her wrestling. Maybe she gets a sub. She has very good ground game, very good takedowns herself. The thing that worries me is maybe her gas tank, but I've seen Cortez slow down herself there. Paulo Costa is the real champion. No, he is not, especially after that awful performance he had against Adesanya. All right, so we'll get into the main event here. This is a good fight. And I want to have some action on this main event. I've passed on the past couple main events, and it's worked out well. But man, it's a good fight, and you got to favor Corey Sandhagen just due to the fact that we'll take a look at some of the numbers here. He averages about 6.95 significant strikes per minute compared to Marias' 3.53. Sandhagen is 5'11", 5'6". We saw if you guys watch the weigh-ins, there's a big size advantage for Sandhagen. I screenshotted it, sent it into the Discord, and he looked a lot bigger than Marias, a lot bigger. He's going to have a decent reach, and he has that length as well. And, Sandhagen should be the favorite. Marias does slow down in his fights. We've seen it time and time again, and Sandhagen will not slow down. Sandhagen has a very good gas tank, very good output, and I don't know if Marias can, I don't know if his gas tank will hold up going into the later rounds. But Marias is dangerous. Marias is very, very, very dangerous, and that's why I've not pulled the trigger yet, because he is extremely dangerous, especially in those early rounds, and Sandhagen will have to survive that round and a half, 2 rounds, and I think he can. I mean, he's shown a good chin so far. He's never been knocked out, but Marias is very dangerous, but that size and that length, that reach of Sandhagen, I think it will help him a ton in this fight, and he's shown durability. So the pick is Sandhagen. Potential bet. I was waiting for more money to come in on Marias, but that's not going to be the case. The line seems to be sitting around the minus 140, minus 145 range. So very close to putting a bet on Sandhagen. I have not done it yet. And I think what I might do is place a bet on Sandhagen and kind of hedge in a way with the under 3.5, because I think that line's crazy. Under 3.5 is minus 130. Because obviously Marias can finish in round 1, 2. Sandhagen is capable of finishing in any round, really. So the under 3.5 is pretty crazy. I don't know if Marias has the gas tank, depending on the game plan. If he comes in here and kind of slows it down at first, I think he can go into those later rounds, be kind of fresh. But if he comes in here like he has been doing lately and trying to get that early finish, no, I don't see Marias being fresh in that 3rd round, that 4th round. So the under 3.5 is very, 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 very intriguing there. So that could be a look. So I might bet Sandhagen and the under 3.5 as a hedge, and I think Sandhagen can even finish in that 3rd, 4th round as well. So I think that's where I might go, or I might pass on it. I don't know. I'm going to, talk over it a little bit more on the live stream tonight on odds. Talk with the guys on there. It's tough. I mean, minus 140, it's very intriguing because I do think he should be the favorite. I think he has all the advantages, but on the flip side, Marias is dangerous, and he's very dangerous. So Sandhagen is the pick, potential bet. Tune into my betting breakdown video tomorrow. I'll probably have it by then. Tune into my social media. I'll let you guys know if I take the bet. But, man, it's a tough fight, but I got to give the edge to Sandhagen in pretty much every aspect outside of Marias landing a shot. And I think that length and that range will give him some problems there. My buddy put 200 on Marias at plus 120. Yeah, a lot of early money came in on Marias, it looked like, especially earlier in the week. Yeah, I did Tybura and Rothwell. I just did it really quick there. Fade the public Marias via TKO plus 300. That's not a bad line if you are on Marias. Marlon round 1 KO. How much Marias you got on DraftKings? I haven't done my percentages yet. I'm going to do them after my live streams tonight, but I'm going to be 100% owned on this fight. It's right in that 8,200, 8,000 range, and I think the winner is optimal. So maybe 55-45 in favor of Sandhagen, maybe 60-40 in favor of Sandhagen. But outside of like a knockout shot, I think Marias loses here. Parlay Khabib with everything. Marias' jiu-jitsu is underrated. Yeah, if he comes out here with the wrestling-heavy game plan and tries to get that submission and he doesn't get it in a 5-round fight, he's screwed. He is screwed. So I don't know if he's going to come out here and try to wrestle. I don't really expect that. Betting huge on Corey. Pay attention to what? Couple Morales leg kicks and the game changes. No, it could, but what I like about Sandhagen, he's able to switch those stances. So if Morales is tearing up that the lead leg, switch stances, maybe he tears that one up as well. But you're right, those leg kicks are very concerning. Marias by sub touched on it a little bit. I don't see this going to the mat. I really don't, unless he comes out here trying to get that early finish. I don't know if that's the best game plan there. Marias for me too. If you guys are on Marias, like the under with 3.5, it seems like it's a gift. Like minus 130 under 3.5. Marias isn't going to finish the fight in the 4th or 5th round. He's going to finish in those first round and a half, 2 rounds. So if you're on Marias, that under is a good look for you guys. And maybe I just play that. Because it is very dangerous fight for Sandhagen. Is the main event must play on DK this week? Yes. All right, so Brady, if I hit the parlay, I'll send you some money. Your insights have been great, regardless of whether I tail or fade. Appreciate that a ton, Charlie Chips. Hopefully you get that 100,000. That'd be sweet. That would be very sweet there. But as always, guys, I'm going to go over my bets. I have a ton of them, and then I'm going to go over my most confident underdogs on DraftKings, my most confident plays, all that good stuff, and then I'll ask questions for about 5 minutes. All right, for my bets, Stephanie Ager, 1 unit plus 205. The line came down a ton. She's now plus 160. Of course, I would like it at plus 205, but I don't think it's an awful play at plus 160. I think it should be closer to a pick 'em. I still think you're getting that value. Although you should have probably got it earlier in the week, I still think there's some slight value there. Taguir, Ulambekov, and Edson Barbosa, 1.5 units, minus 137. That 2-leg parlay I like doing. I like both guys a lot. I think they both get it done. Taguir first fight of the night. Hopefully he's able to get it. And then Edson Barbosa in the co-main event. I think he gets it done. I think it's a great stylistic matchup. Omar Morales, 1.5 units, minus 150. I like Morales a lot. This is a big fade on Chikazy, and I also like Morales. It's a win-win. Minus 150 I like a lot. Minus 160 now, it's not bad. We saw who Giga has been fighting. We saw that when he gets a step up, he either loses or it's a close win that maybe he didn't deserve that win, aka Jamal Emmer's fight. And then Nascimento inside the distance parlayed with Aspinall inside the distance, 1 unit plus 136. I think both guys finish. I think both guys, I don't really see either fight going to decision. So if both favorites get the finish there, it should hit plus 136. Good price there. And then Aliyah Tapora, 1 unit plus 145. Would have liked to get a better line, but what can you do? I took it where I could. Some plays I'm looking at for tomorrow, and I'll talk about it on the betting breakdown. The Impikasagane, maybe the fight doesn't go to decision plus 125. Maybe the under is something I'm looking at. Like I mentioned, the Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Moraes, under 3.5. I like it a lot for either guy. I think either guy can finish before that 3.5 mark. And then maybe a shot on Sandhagen. I don't know. I'm iffy about it. I think he wins, but Moraes is so dangerous. And then most confident picks on the card, Edson Barbosa. I mean, I guess I'm confident in Rothwell, as confident as you can be. Tom Aspinall, obviously. You can't be confident in Tom Breeze. Nascimento, I'm very confident in. I know a lot of people are going the other way. And Taguir, I'm confident in. And then Morales, I'm pretty confident in. So those are probably my 5 or 6 most confident picks there. Underdogs you want to target on DraftKings. Stephanie Ager, 7,200. Ali Al-Kaizi, 7,500 if he's able to get those takedowns. It's 5 points each. Chris Dockets, if you're on the Dockett side, yeah, 7,000. He can get the knockout. Taporia, 7,600, going to be the most high-owned underdogs because of the upside. I like it a lot. Other than that, Perez is live, 7,800. Amar Khan, if you think he gets the sub, 7,400, and then Marias at 8,000, obviously is a fantastic underdog play there. So for the next couple minutes, I'll answer questions and I'll get out of here. Thank you guys all again for 7,000. That is awesome. Really appreciate that a bunch. And only 2 more likes to hit 100. 2 more likes. So if you guys hit the like button, really appreciate that. We have a 224 in here right now. Thanks for the stream and insights on the fights. Thank you guys for hanging out. Really appreciate that a lot. We had a bunch of people in here for this card. Ulambekov, Morales, Nascimento, Aspinall, and Duplessis. Let's get the cheese. Good luck to you. What do you think of a 5-way parlay? Barbosa, Aspinall, Rothwell, Taguir, and Rodrigo Cemento. Everything looks decent besides the Rothwell. I take out the Rothwell. You have a nice 4-leg parlay there if you want it. Would an Aspinall, Nascimento, Kasangane parlay receive a blessing by Brady? Pays. Yeah, I don't hate it, but you would be sweating the IMPA part. You'd be sweating that for 15 minutes unless he gets a finish, but I think it does hit, so I like it. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Wow, Danger, $19 donation. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. As always, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. If you guys do want to support me more, I am on Patreon. The link will be in the description. I posted a ton of betting breakdowns videos this week on YouTube, on Patreon. Going to get my betting article done as well. Thank you all so much for the support. 7K, really appreciate it a bunch. Big ups, Danger. Yeah, shout out Danger. How many hours of tape study do you do? So I take all of Monday and study about 8 hours on Monday. Try to get some Sunday, and then I take about 8 hours on Tuesday. And then I do about maybe like 4 or 6 hours on Wednesday, and then I record my videos. So a ton. I do a ton of tape study, way too much. When's the Odds HQ stream start? 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Appreciate it, Cody. Appreciate always hanging out in here. Brady's the GOAT. Thanks. Thank you so much. Like the video. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and good luck on Saturday. Great card. Great card.